Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Let's Play Rockin Kats, and this is it, the last half of the last stage. We still have pretty much all of the hardest parts of the game ahead of us, but we do get to start things off a bit easy here with some portions of level that are pretty much copied straight from Stage 3. And to finish off this brief retread of Stage 3 content, we have, naturally, the Stage 2 boss. This second fight against Powerful Machine is exactly the same as the first one. But we didn't have the hammer punch last time, and it's actually quite useful here. As usual, it doesn't deal any extra damage to the boss or to its rotating fists, but it does block both of the boss's two different projectile attacks, and also the twin shot tends to get multiple hits on the fists, so using the hammer punch makes it a bit less likely that you'll end up destroying them all by accident. Overall, I think the hammer punch is actually the better option for this fight. Though, honestly, I could probably beat this guy with my eyes closed at this point, so it really doesn't make that much difference. And here we've actually got a new enemy. These dog thwomps take 6 regular hits to kill. It's pretty easy to just avoid them, but if you're feeling bloodthirsty, then hammer punch is definitely the way to go here. Round 2 against Aviator Dog is way easier than the first, since you have the whole width of the screen to work with instead of that tiny plane in the center. The conveyor belt kind of throws a wrench into things, but overall this fight is just a complete cakewalk this time around. This one up here is unusually difficult to get, though I guess it's actually weirder that all of the other one-ups in this game tended to be just lying out in the open most of the time. You can see there's a bit of a gimmick going on in this section. The room goes dark whenever there aren't any candles on screen. Now, you can imagine there's some pretty nasty things that they could do with this, but they don't, really. This section is pretty much just completely straightforward, and this gimmick never shows up anywhere else in the game. Now, I know some people are bothered by these kinds of pointless one-shot gimmicks, but personally, I kind of like them. I find that they add a lot of variety to a game. Anyway, we're at Clown Dog again, so I'm gonna try and actually explain the fight this time. The boss's normal attack pattern is for the big head to shoot multiple waves of projectiles, and once that's done, Clown Dog will roll down to the ground and start jumping and shooting. And once he's done with that, he'll roll back up top, and the big head will start shooting again. Now, if the big head gets taken out, then Clown Dog will just roll around the room a second time instead, and as you've seen twice by now, it's pretty easy to kill the big head before it gets a second chance to attack. As an aside, I really like how there are different ways you can avoid Clown Dog's rolling attack. You can jump and punch off the wall, you can punch and jump off the floor, or you can just plain jump over it. Your moveset in this game is so versatile that even for something incredibly simple like this, you've always got multiple ways you can handle things. Coming up now is probably the toughest obstacle in the whole game. You've got to swing from wheel to wheel, just like in the first path from the previous video, but this time you've got 3 wheels to deal with instead of 2, which means that you can't cheat your way past with the jet sneakers this time. And immediately following that, we have the hardest boss in the game. Mr. Kong is a lot more unpredictable than any of the other bosses. The bananas always fall in the same place at regular intervals, and he always throws his spiked balls after a certain number of jumps, but the main danger in this fight is getting jumped on, and in true 800-pound gorilla fashion, Mr. Kong can jump anywhere he pleases. There's just no way to predict it. Now, normally the best strategy here is to stay underneath him as much as possible and just keep punching him in the ball sack over and over again, but at 150% speed, I just can't react to his movements quickly enough to consistently get underneath him. So instead, I'm just kind of improvising and hoping that things work out. This is the one part of the game that becomes so much harder at 150% speed that I just can't beat it consistently, and I was actually really lucky to be able to get him on my first try here. Incidentally, the last checkpoint for this stage was in the area before that boss, so if you game over beyond this point, you have to fight Mr. Kong again, and redo that nasty swinging gauntlet right before him. And this final area is definitely no walk in the park, especially right at the end here where we have another point-to-point swinging challenge. This is arguably even tougher than the last one since you have to grab the first wheel in the middle of a long drop from above. But because you're so high up, you can actually skip past both wheels using the jet sneakers. And that is the last of Stage 5. We're on to the final boss now, which is a showdown with Muggsy himself. The gangster dog's name is Muggsy, I don't think I've mentioned that yet. Anyway, he's not really that tough. He moves up and down and fires bullets sometimes, but if you just punch him as fast as you can, he'll get kind of stun-locked, which prevents him from shooting. Sometimes bombs will drop on the platforms, which can be kind of annoying, but they only do half a heart of damage. Eventually Muggsy moves to the left-hand side, which makes things a little bit tougher, but even then, this just isn't a very hard boss fight. On the other hand, it can be quite stressful if you're low on lives, since getting a game over here means that you have to redo everything starting from the area before Mr. Kong. And Moon Punch! I don't know why, but I just love the moon's face here. I think I'd actually have the same expression if a tiny dog got punched onto my face by a cat wielding a punch gun. Anyway, that is the end of Rockin Kats. This is the ending, which is, as you can see, just the skyline above New York, and we pan down very, very slowly to see Willie and Jill just kind of looking at each other all day, apparently. Yeah, we slowly fade to night. Very, very slowly, in fact. This is almost unbearably tedious to watch at normal speed. Remember, we are at 150% speed, so yeah, I really hate this ending, actually. It takes forever to get through at normal speed. Here it's not so bad, though. If you couldn't tell by now, I'm... and there, they kiss finally. I don't know what they were... I guess they were waiting for that shooting star. If you couldn't tell, I'm not working from a script anymore. I'm just kind of ad-libbing it here for the ending and the credits and all that. But, yeah, that was Rockin Kats. Like I mentioned back in the first video, not a game that I grew up with or anything. I maybe rented it once or twice, but a game that I rediscovered and after the Talking Time race, like I also mentioned back in video 1. And, yeah, a game that I just kind of loved when I played it. It's... yeah, just all of the things that I've mentioned, I think, over the course of this LP that I love about it. The vast array of moves that you have that give the game just a lot of versatility to the way you can approach different things, the sort of forward-thinking, ahead-of-its-time design in its approach to difficulty and all that. It's just a great game. I hope maybe this will have convinced some of you guys out there to give it a shot, but, you know, if not, I hope I at least gave you a good idea of what this game is all about and how, just how great it is, in my opinion. And I guess that's all I've got for you. Thank you all for watching. This has been Let's Play Rockin Kats, and I have been Jasu Bakuhatsu. I hope you'll join me again for my next whatever it is that I decide to do. And, what? What? Say what? That's right, we've got an extra stage coming right at you in the next video. I promise you it will be spectacular. Don't miss it.